Yo, what's up, guys? It's Rush. I'm out here at Legacy Hall today, and this is a great opportunity to introduce to you my new video series. It's called Into the Music. Into the Music looks to feature musicians and bands that have this mystical talent to perform and entertain audiences in the around locally, nationally, and I just really want to tap in to their talent and ask them what it feels like to play licks on the guitar, bang on the drums, sing vocals, and fill an audience full of joy and excitement. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy this series. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rush with Into the Music. And today's guest is Pearl Jam, the ultimate concert experience tribute band to Pearl Jam. What's up, guys?
What's up,
Hey.
Awesome.
Hello.
Great. Why don't we start off by why don't you start off by introducing ourselves to one another? Let me know what your role is, who you play on stage, and what instrument you play.
Hi, this is Marco. I play stone gossard guitar parts.
I'm Jason James, and I do guitar tech and a little bit of everything else.
David Einhorn, and I play Mike McCready.
I'm Barack, and I sing for the group and entertain them and keep them from falling asleep on stage.
He does that.
And I'm Matthew. I play drums.
Awesome, guys. Hey, I got to tell you, I'm really excited to see y'all's concert on the 25th of June here at Legacy Hall, and I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Okay, some questions I got to ask you is, how did you guys handle not being able to play during this whole situation last year? How did y'all? How did?
Well, we still played. I introduced them all to a thing called Jam Kazam.
Okay.
And so we still played together. It had its kinks.
Virtually.
It was virtually, yeah. We played online. It's like Zoom, but better, latency. And
Yeah.
so it was a lot of fun. I know there's a few skeptics. One is sitting right. I won't say any names, but he's sitting to my right. And for a drummer, it could be tough. But we still were able to play and get that bit out. It was tough, however,
Yeah.
to not be in front of a crowd. But
And what does it mean for you guys to start playing in front of a crowd again?
Well, that's all we've been waiting for, so it's super exciting. First of all, we had our first in-person rehearsals, what was that, a couple of weeks ago, and it was great to see everybody again, getting the energy flowing that you cannot get through the virtual setup, and so we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're missing the energy of the crowd is what it is. So that feedback that we get when we're playing a show and everyone's cheering for their favorite song or singing along with their favorite song, it's great. I love playing with you guys. I always want to play with you guys, but also getting that feedback from the crowd is just that's part of it. That's part of the whole thing for us.
That's awesome.
It's going to be totally night and day because when the pandemic started and we weren't really able to play anymore, I don't care for my 9-to-5 job, so I identify as a musician. But you take that away, and I had basically an identity crisis. And then the way we were able to keep playing, was a nightmare for me because there's a delay. There's just always a delay. So everyone's behind in rehearsals. And so getting out on stage is going to be very cathartic, and I cannot wait. It's going to be a very pleasant experience, I think, for everyone.
I think being able to get into a room with these guys. I think it was last weekend we were finally able to practice together in person since the pandemic started, and it was like riding a bike. It was awesome, and so yeah, adding the crowd to it is going to make it that much more awesome.
That's so awesome, guys. Just hearing y'all tell a story about, I could understand when you're talking about identity crisis as a media guy who comes out to the community and interviews people like you guys and that have things going on that contribute to entertainment or social, civic charities or whatever. My job is to go out there and interview people, and not being able to do that for some time or trying to do it virtually was like I had to pick or choose, Yeah. So I respect you guys, and I'm happy that you guys are getting back to doing what you love, and I look forward to seeing you on June 25th at Legacy Hall. All right, so big question, why Pearl Jam? What is it, and what do you appreciate about the music of Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam?
Why not Pearl Jam? I mean, their music is just as awesome, I think, as some of the greatest music out there. And at a time, I got struck by them. I was floundering between Vanilla Ice and Faith No More when they came out, and I was just so happy to hear that Pearl Jam and the Seattle thing was happening. That it was like a breath of fresh air. I started discovering Jimi Hendrix and Zeppelin and the Doors. It was just amazing. It was an amazing time, and so I am a lifelong Pearl Jammer, and I mean it just makes sense to be doing it with like five other Pearl Jam fans.
Yeah.
That all of us have been to concerts, all of us have traveled around the world to go see them, and so it's just I mean they make us happy. They make us happy, and so I mean, why not be able to, when we can replicate that with all as consummate musicians? Why not?
Yeah.
I drove around with 10, the CD in my backpack on my bike to play in different people's CD players that had good sound systems. Like, I've been training to be in Pearl Jam since I was 16. It's my favorite band of all time, easily, hands down. So it's fun to be able to get to do this and basically live vicariously as if I was in Pearl Jam.
That's awesome. And you?
I'm also a longtime fan of Pearl Jam, and I find it interesting. I grew up in Italy. I'm from Italy, and it was really interesting to see that kind of globally, and it's a music that reaches across. And met this guy. I used to play with another Pearl Jam tribute band back in Italy, and when I met these guys, we immediately connected. So it goes beyond like any boundaries, I guess.
That's awesome. So yeah, y'all just got an agreement. So let's make a Pearl Jam tribute band, huh?
Well, the band's been in existence for a while, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we've kind of, there have been some other players along the way,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
we found
changed
each
it
other
up.
along the way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for me, it just was, the band, all the things that the guy said about the band, but, they bring not just the rock and roll, the pure rock and roll that we know and love, but it's in their name, the jam.
Yeah.
And if you see Pearl Jam live,
Okay.
I mean, they have a live element where every show is a little bit different, and they jam with each other. They communicate with each other through their instruments and through the music a lot differently than a lot of the other formulaic music out there. And so it's rock and roll, but it's a jam, and it's conversation between themselves and the fans, and it's some of it's hard to describe, but that's the best I could do.
That's pretty cool. Actually, I heard it's a jam, like you said. That kind of resonated with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked up some quotes from Eddie Vedder, and one of the Eddie Vedder quotes is this: "Music, at its best, music's at its best when it has a purpose." Y'all agree with that statement? And what is y'all's purpose?
Well, I mean, Eddie, the reason why I was attracted to Pearl Jam, and of course the character that Eddie Vedder portrays on stage, which is Eddie Vedder, he's always just very emotive. He was always driven by passion, by a purpose, and he made that happen. He always wrote about stuff that you didn't hear about, and I mean, at the time it was glam rock, right? And they were just singing about their junk and getting laid, and along comes this really amazing songwriter who wrote about political things or just social issues and things that you might be able to relate to, such as homelessness, or women's rights, or it's just anything that he was passionate about. And it was great to hear his stories about that, about his encounters with people on the street, people that he played basketball with or go surfing with. And so our purpose is to just carry that on. And I mean, we've done it, to a fault. Perhaps I have, to a fault, have created a purpose for it.
Yeah.
Some will remember here. Well, at least us two will remember it here.
We don't have to go into specifics.
We don't have to go into specifics, but in Houston, on stage, there was a purpose, and we almost imploded on stage, but somehow came back to life in 7 minutes.
But they have, in rock and roll, there's kind of this rebellious streak.
Yeah.
And, they've taken things on, like taking on Ticketmaster and the big ticket agencies, and making sure that their fans get fair prices for their concerts, and not these great seats absorbed by ticket brokers. They were one of the first to really take on the big corporate ticket overhead, and they made a lot of noise and a lot of statements, and it helped the industry. So they've done a lot of things along the way, and with good purpose, like I said.
Got anything?
I just think that it's fun to be able to play this music because I've always have a very emotional response to music. It's just all music, whether it be good or bad, and I feel very connected to the material. So to be able to play it with people on stage is it's a privilege.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah,
I mean, there are themes that you may agree or not with, but I always like their courage to stand up for things they thought were wrong, and I think that's something I enjoy, and I think carrying that message, I think is great.
that's awesome. Doing my research on your band and Eddie, Pearl Jam, this makes me want to listen to the music differently now. So I appreciate that. You sitting down with me and having this interview. Now I can go listen to music a little differently than just songs and lyrics, and now I know there's purpose behind it. So I want to tell you that. Let's see. Sure, people want to know. I do, at least. What's the song Jeremy about?
I think that the best music and lyrics are open to interpretation, have your own personal experience.
Okay.
And I think that that song can mean many things to many different people. It happens to be about something that happened locally, and I'll let someone else go into it if they want to. But I like that, generally speaking, the fact that it's open to interpretation makes it beautiful because it's about something that's very dark, and I think that originally they refused to speak about it, the exact nature of where it came from, because they didn't want it to glorify the story it's inherently about.
Well, to be a little more direct, yeah, sorry, yeah, it's beautiful. But yeah, it was unfortunately about a kid from Richardson,
Yeah.
Texas,
Oh wow.
and who
Yeah.
took
Okay.
his own life for
Yeah.
in front of his school, his classmates who
Yeah.
he was sort of the reject, and in some ways I think Eddie identified with a little bit of that in his youth, and I think for in a lot of ways growing up, I think it's just about bullying, really. I interpreted it as bullying, and
Yeah.
just I think that, of course, for a child growing up can be quite a bit of a journey
Yeah.
through growing up.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the things about having a purpose, right? Singing, putting lyrics together that have meaning and that carry a message, right? Which is what we need today in society, right? Carry a message on putting out the right kind of message out there. And it's weird that he was ahead of his time because this whole thing has come full circle, right? And now
Yeah.
it's here fresh, a big social issue. Of course, you're not here to do, you're here to fulfill a purpose, but number one goal is to entertain and to have fun and get people pumping and sing the songs.
It's still, I am able to tap into that emotion
Yeah.
that they tapped into whenever it happens through our social media, not by taking a stand, but just by quoting things that Pearl Jam has said in the past. For instance, there's a T-shirt that went around in the early 90s. It was 9 out of 10 children prefer crayons to guns, and so it's just like, every time there's been a shooting, especially school shooting,
Yeah.
I'll just post that as our profile picture and just let that be. I won't, not to take a stance, but it is a Pearl Jam stance. So,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and you'll see it in the crowd too. When the crowd is singing along and singing back to us,
Yeah.
we can tell the emotion that's coming from the crowd. And there are certain songs, Jeremy is one of those, where sometimes the crowd is louder than we are, and they're belting it out, and you can tell that there's emotion coming from
Yeah.
the crowd back
That's
to
so
us.
cool.
especially at the end.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
What's y'all's favorite song to sing or play?
Oh, favorite one. There's a lot of them. I don't have one specific favorite. Certainly, I love the most the first couple of albums, and this year is the 30th anniversary, so we're gonna play the whole thing, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I guess if I have to pick one, it's hard. It's really hard.
It's
If I have
really
to pick
hard.
one, it'll be Black.
Okay.
One of my favorite tunes to play. I don't think it was that before I started playing with the band, though. It wasn't until I really got immersed into learning all the details of the song and started playing them. It's like I fell in love with that song all over again. Yeah, but Marco's right. This is the 30th anniversary. We should probably say that it's the 30th anniversary of the 10 album. This is a huge year for us.
really? Wow.
And so in August is the 30th anniversary. So this is part of the show. It's a celebration of their very first album, 10.
Nice.
And it's 30. It's hard to say it because it makes me feel old, makes us feel old. But it's 30 years ago that the 10 album came out. So we'll be playing the entire album, start to finish, along with other songs too. So
that's awesome.
That's a huge part
Well,
of it.
it's going to make me feel like it's 15 again, so that's all I'm saying. But if I had to pick, I think always one of my favorite songs to sing and play with the band is Rearview Mirror off of their Verses album, which just is such an energy song. And, you know, I mean, I've gone to see Pearl Jam live and do that song, and we replicate and emulate that energy, you know, and it's just you can't not let that energy get a hold of you and the crowd. And you know, just you know, what that particular song is about too is really awesome, and it touches with a lot of a lot of the people that we've become friends with as the band. I think Matt and I throughout the years, and now Jason, of course. What's your name? David, Marco, and Brian.
Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you. Yeah. It's definitely been it's always emotional to me when we get done playing that because of the energy we expel together. It's when we get done with that, it just feels like we ran a marathon, and the crowd just always just freaking like it could be 2 people, but it could be 2,000 people, and every single one of them will go crazy. So it's fun.
That's so cool.
Yes. Rearview's good. I also like Go or Animal. I think we do a good job with those too.
So hold on. So let's add on to that. So Jason, who is the glue that holds the operation together, by the way, often is listening to us from side stage, backstage, wherever. Maybe he's listening. Maybe he's focused on fixing a guitar. But what's your favorite to hear from your perspective?
Man, I like listening to all of the songs for sure. I'm definitely gonna be with Rearview Mirror for sure. But we always add new. Every now and then we add something new to the mix, and these guys learn it and they pull it out. And it might be a new tuning, which excites me because I get to tune another guitar or something like that. And so it's something else for me to bring to the stage as well. So that's kind of that's where I get energized and excited about it. So
if I could speak for Brian, who's not here, I would probably say his favorite to play is dun 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 dun.
So it's a good point. So what we didn't do in the beginning, which we should have done, is we didn't virtually introduce our bass player, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian Baldwin, who's our bass player. He's in Houston.
He lives in Houston.
Yeah. Comes up for whenever we get together and gigs and everything like
He's
that.
a big Astros fan. They are cheaters.
So he's gonna love you for that.
Yeah. You'll have lost half your audience that way. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Bye.
Just kidding. So he's not here. I thought y'all were gonna bring a life-size statue or like a carbon cutout.
A golden statue of Brian.
It's not worth that much, huh? Just kidding. Well, guys, I appreciate you taking the time. Why don't you tell everybody when your event is, how they can get tickets, the time, and all that.
LegacyFoodHall.com, right? We're playing here is how you can get the tickets, and we're playing here June the 25th. It'll be our first time on stage together since the pandemic, and I think our last show was in January of 2020. February
22nd of last.
February 22nd
of
2020. Okay, so this will be the first time we've gotten on stage. We're excited to do it. It's going to be very energetic, very powerful. We hope to see everybody here.
That's awesome, guys. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Into the music. We love you guys. We're excited about seeing you guys rock out, and we'll see you on June 25th.
It's for Brian.
All right, guys, we're out.